had no intention of finding something as magnificent as this, and because I trusted my intuition and I followed what seemed to be signs to me, I was led to a place like this. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's like I'm overlooking the whole valley, pretty much. I should be spending a few days here, but the whole purpose behind this video is to discuss the abilities we have to lead ourselves to exactly where we need to be. We have this inner compass, this inner navigation. Oh my gosh, that wind. That is constantly leading us to every single moment of perfection. If we silence our minds, if we trust ourselves, honor what the universe has provided before and what it will provide in this moment, then you can be aligned in the greatest potential of where you need to be. Your inner evolution can unfold organically. And this is by just quieting your mind, quieting the expectation of what you thought your evolutionary cycle would look like. Who you would meet, who you would fall in love with, what you would experience, what knowledge you would attain by now. You have to let all of these preconceived notions and expectations go in order for you to be aligned with your true potential. Look at this, a mere example of I had no idea where I was going. I turned off a random road, and I turned off several roads, and they didn't feel right to me. And so I just kept going and going until I saw something that could lead to a further potential. And I go up this windy road for a few miles, so it takes a long time, and it's very enclosed with rocks. And it seemed like everything in the environment was saying, you're not supposed to be here. It was too closed off. My car was having a hard time, and usually I'd follow that intuitive environmental sign. But the spirit was so strong in my heart that I had this curiosity of, well, what's at the top? What does this road lead to? And this can go and symbolize your entire life purpose. It's like we travel through our day-to-day moments, and we meet these people, we have these experiences which we feel as traumatic or frightening, yet we keep going forward, we keep waking up every day, for other people, we keep going to work, we keep returning to our families, and it's because of this innocent curiosity of where it will lead. And I feel like this curiosity is solely linked to our original question, our divine purpose. It's like we drop all rationality in moments when we're listening to spirit, because we know spirit doesn't work necessarily through logic and rationality. Spirit works in the middle, and sometimes on the outskirts completely of that. And so we can't let our environments determine what it is that we will seek after, what it is that we will be open to experience. Because if we were to do that, we would limit ourselves all the time with relationships, with work opportunities, with you name it. You just have to allow yourself to experience whatever you need to experience, whether it seems good or bad or uneasy or frightening. And we have to have a godly perspective of it to see that it's leading us. It's it's our evolutionary process. And to determine and to neglect the idea that, whoa, I have like ants all over. Neglect the idea that all roads lead to God, all roads lead home, neglects the very essence of what God is, what evolution is. And just because you experience what seems to be negativity on your path doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It's to either show you your truth, to allow you to love that much more, to guide you in a newer direction, to teach you a lesson. It all has a purpose. So you really can't determine your environment or your circumstances necessarily as your progression. Because 5 years ago, if I would have tried to determine my progression due to my circumstances, I would have never allowed myself to be where I am now. I would have never saw and allowed myself to learn how to love myself. Because if I had that perspective of not being worthy and not being on the proper path, then I would have just been stuck. I say this all the time, but goodness. Whatever you experience doesn't necessarily have a good or bad connotation. And that means it doesn't necessarily mean that it can only lead one way. A lot of religion teaches that the path is only one straight path. And if we look at it from an alternative perspective, yes, I can see that. But in a more simple way, that's impossible. If God has all of these lessons due to our own circumstances, our own minds and our hearts and what we've experienced, there's no way that we're all going to take the same path. There's no way we're going to all renunciate our desires. There's no way that we're all going to have families or the opposite, or become a monk or follow the spiritual path. Because we have to understand that the spiritual path is choosing life. It's choosing to have the experience. So no matter what you do, you are always on the spiritual path. Whether you're reading the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, whether you're studying the Upanishads, it doesn't matter what you're doing. And I know this sounds so contrary to what most people say. And even the fact that this is hard for me to say, it doesn't even matter if you're mindful of it or not. Because at some level, your spirit, your soul is directing you and leading through the karma and the experiences that you need. And even if your rational, aware mind isn't noticing it, it's still leading you to where you need to be. So we shouldn't judge others if they aren't on the spiritual path, because maybe they're your guru showing you where you are, where you judge. If you were to see all people, no matter if they're drug dealers, no matter if they're violent people in gangs, we're all here to reflect something to each other and to teach each other. And we all have our different experiences in order to get past certain lessons. And just because you experience something doesn't mean someone else has to experience it as well to get the similar understanding, just like love. Love is the same essence, but we have to experience it in different ways. We have all of these different ideas of what it is because we grew up receiving different types of love. And it doesn't mean love is this or that. It just means it brings out different aspects to get all of these people to a similar understanding. It's all the same essence, but it comes in different faces, it comes in different costumes. I could go on and on and on, but I feel like this is a lot for you to integrate. So I will leave it at that. I hope you understood, or at least were open to trying to understand what I'm saying, and not coming from a place of judgment or superiority or trying to disprove. But even if you are, that's where you are, and you need that too. And that's just what I talked about, and I honor that in all, and I honor that in myself. Thank you for watching my video, and